Chaos Theory is finally out, and I have finally finished it because Netflix has to drop all of their episodes in one flippin' day. But of course, let's go ahead and talk about it. This will be spoiler filled, so if you want to watch Chaos Theory completely unspoiled, then definitely go and do that first and then return so that we can chat about it. I took notes while watching this. I had so many things to say that I took notes while watching the entirety of this show. I had just simply too much things to say, so I won't be able to say it all here. I'm going to try to say as much as I can while keeping it condensed and maybe make future videos with their own dedicated topics. We'll see what happens. For the most part, I really like this show. I had a lot of fun watching it, and it really kept me invested and intrigued while I was watching it. Now, if you've seen some of my videos, one thing I've wanted to see for a while now is just like a closer look at the dinosaurs post Fallen Kingdom, as in the dinosaurs that escaped or were transported around the world. I want to see a little bit more of dinosaurs interacting with environments and how humans are interacting with the dinosaurs, how they're reacting to the dinosaurs. And we do get some of that here. We get to see the DPW really try to capture as many dinosaurs as they possibly can to help aid the public. There's people who are actively calling them when they're having a dinosaur issue. You have a Nazuda flippin' Ceratops just kind of sleeping at a gas station because it's nice and shady there. I love that. I love stuff like that. And there's a lot of things that we get to see incorporated, like how some humans are reacting to it. Like you have this guy right here, the King Dino. He kind of sets up his own little little park, kind of really run down park. He probably already had it set up, but now he has the opportunity to have real dinosaurs in it, so he has some captured Stiggy Moloch. Or where Yaz is pretty much hanging out for the majority of the show, this little therapy program for people who don't want to really be around dinosaurs or want to try to acclimate to being around dinosaurs. So it's kind of like a place to help them get used to the new world that they're living in. And I like how she establishes that it's like this is a result of Big Rock, as in Battle at Big Rock, the events that happened there. I love that. I love that little connective tissue that they have added there. Speaking of connective tissue, like they have a few different methods to keep dinosaurs out of this, what they call an island, like infrared security cameras or just a fenced out area. But one of those is West Indian lilac, which are just, they have them situated everywhere. And if you recall from the first Jurassic Park film, it was noted that West Indian lilac is of course poisonous to the animals, and the Triceratops accidentally ate some, which is why it was sick. And so they have them set up everywhere because it's no good for the dinosaurs. I like that. It was a nice callback. But that is what I loved the most about this, is just seeing dinosaurs in the real world. Every once in a while they have to be careful because there's a dinosaur crossing the road, or everybody needs to pull over on the highway or interstate because DPW trucks are coming in, transporting dinosaurs. And it's just great. That was my favorite part of the whole show, and I could watch something like that forever. Of course, there was also a story going on. Our campers are being they're being hunted. They have a hit put on them, and apparently the first casualty of said hit was Brooklyn. This is crazy because they 100% convinced me that Brooklyn was dead. I had the theory, small theory, I kind of just said it in an earlier video, that Brooklyn might actually be alive and they might be fooling us with the trailers. But they really, really, really want you to think that she is dead. And they convinced me because, I mean, there's really no reason for me to say otherwise, because, they established very early on that she's dead, and we get a flashback scene where it really sounds like she dies, and plus the footage where, again, it seems like she dies. And this is one of my biggest complaints with this show and just Jurassic movies in general nowadays. And that is, the trailers are flippin' terrible. The trailers show too much. The trailers tell you too much nowadays. They show you every single cool moment in the trailer, and in this case, they show you what could have been one of the greatest plot twists in the entirety of the show. If they just hid Brooklyn's death, then it probably would have been a little bit more impactful when we find out early on in the first episode. Granted, it wasn't necessarily built up too much, because again, it was revealed in the first episode. But while they're over there and they're saying, people are saying, "Oh, I know that your friend died." I'm like, yeah, Brooklyn, because I already saw it in the trailer. I wish that they didn't show it in the trailer. I think it would have just hit a lot harder. Regardless, we get that established early on, and they go on the rest of the show, making you think that Brooklyn's dead. Until the 11th hour, where it's revealed that she is not dead. She's missing an arm now, or, missing her wrist. her missing her hand. It seems that she was still very much attacked. I mean, of course, there was blood on the scene. I assume that means her hand might have been left behind, and that's why everybody was kind of shocked, because there's this one guy named Mateo who, it's a whole thing. He was paid basically, I guess, under the table to transport dinosaurs illegally because there's some shady people in the DPW. A lot happens in the story. This is why I kind of want to talk about it a little bit more in future videos, because I just don't have too much time to talk about it right now. But that was shocking. I genuinely thought that they did kill off Brooklyn, and I kind of do wish that they still stuck with it. I think that would have been better. Granted, it did accomplish one of its missions, at least one of its assumed missions, and that is to make you feel like nobody's safe. If they killed off a main character right away, then it certainly does feel like that nobody, there's a good chance that, some of these characters won't make it to the end of the show. So it did good at that. I just wish that they just kind of committed. Of course, I don't know what story plans they have next. It seems like Brooklyn's cooking up something big with Dark Jurassic and all that. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, let me talk a little bit more about the dinosaurs. That is, of course, the stars of the whole franchise, everybody's one true love. They were great. Their designs look great. And I thought this with Camp Cretaceous too. Just the texturing and their models looks so good. The ones that are like movie animals, like come from the movies, they look great. And the original designs are looking fantastic in this one. Particularly with my boy Pachyrhinosaurus. Looks perfect. A bit big, but it still looks just perfect. I loved it. The beak, the boss, the stubby tail, everything about it looked really good, except for probably the feet, but for the most part, it looked really good. Or Beckelspinax. They call it Beckelspinax. In real life, it's known as Altaspinax. Still don't know why they made that change. I didn't see any reason in the show why they had to do that, but whatever. But its design looks great. I was digging this design. I thought it looked fantastic, and I hope we get to see it more in the future. One dinosaur I was really excited to see was Suchomimus, and it was barely in this, unfortunately. It was truly unfortunate, but from what I did see, I loved its design. I thought that its design looked really good, and I hope we get to see this one a little bit more. I especially hope that we get to see this one a little bit more. The Atrociraptors are back, and I'm not a big fan of controlling dinosaurs, especially as efficiently as they're getting controlled here by the very creepy lady. She kind of blows a whistle to do commands to them, and they're very, very well domesticated. It works very well in a type of villain standpoint, but it's not something I like to see in the Jurassic franchise. I didn't like it in Dominion. I didn't really like it in Fallen Kingdom. It wasn't as bad in the first Jurassic World, because then it kind of seemed like it was unsafe. But this one, she just has full control of them. They do her every command. They're completely loyal. They're basically like wolves. Not too much of a big fan of that, but it seems like it's something that's here to stay in the Jurassic franchise, so we will probably be seeing more of it in the future. Big Edie was back. That was cool. She didn't have too much of a role to play. She kind of fought some things and then kind of pieced out, but she did fight the Allosaurus. That was cool. By the way, the Allosaurus, I am still convinced that this is the one from Battle at Big Rock. It seems that these scars do match up decently well. The Allosaurus is always present here. Darius is incredibly guilty because he was supposed to meet Brooklyn, and of course he feels that she's the reason why he died. I mean, he's the reason that she died. He felt like he should have been there. But I liked how the Allosaurus was a little bit of an antagonistic role, but not too much. It still kind of acted like an animal, which I was happy to see. It lost its fight with Pachyrhinosaurus. I was very happy about that, because typically herbivores are cannon fodder in these movies. So I was glad to see that. Now I'll go ahead and talk about the characters a little bit. Stuff like this is not really my strong suit in talking about, but I figured I'd talk about it a little bit anyway. I thought that the characterization was really good, and I thought that the voice actors did a phenomenal job throughout the whole thing. Now, it's really fun to see everybody's reaction to Brooklyn's death. Everybody has this, just sense of sadness to them, and you really feel for them. I think that they did a really good job at showing that off, especially with Sammy or Kenji, of course, being angry with Darius because he believes that Darius is the reason why Brooklyn died. But I really want to focus on Kenji for a little bit, because there's one scene in particular where they need to go back to his dad to find out some information about Brooklyn, because apparently Brooklyn had meet up with him and talked to him for a time, and they're trying to figure out why. Of course, while they're there, they get attacked by the Atrociraptors, and his dad flippin' dies right in front of him, and it was kind of violent too. Of course, in true you know, we're going to say Camp Cretaceous fashion, it is off screen, and that makes sense. But it was still pretty dark in my opinion. And seeing Kenji's reaction after the fact was really got to me. Really got to me. You know, it was very well done. And all of the characters, especially when they're about to cry or when they are crying, you really do feel for them. I thought that they were all handled extremely well. And I just really couldn't be happier with how they were portrayed. But you cannot make me think that Bumpy died. All right, that was a low blow. So, you know, they established that she's sick and that she might be dying, right? And then there's this whole huge thing where Sammy and Ben are like, oh no, we need to hurry. And then they go like to where her tail is, and then boom, and then Bumpy just kind of flops over. And then she's still for a minute. And everybody's just kind of looking there, everybody's starting to cry. I'm starting to cry. And they make you think that Bumpy died, right? And then Ben comes back with an egg because Bumpy was pregnant with an egg, and then she's alive. She's fine. You can't play with my heartstrings like that. I like Bumpy. You can't do that. Just can't do that. We've gotten to the point where I'm pretty much rambling. I don't have too much of a structure to this. I just wanted to talk about a few things with the show. I'm sorry if this is incredibly unorganized. I just have so many thoughts, and just Netflix does this really annoying thing where they upload everything, where they post their whole show in one day. I'm not the biggest binger fan, but I wanted to talk about the show right now while it's still being talked about. I just wish it was a weekly show. I wish that we were able to wait a week for each episode, kind of speculate on different things, talk about it, have a discussion, and then once the next episode drops, then we can just repeat that cycle. I prefer that. I know a lot of people don't, but I wish that that's what we were able to do with the Jurassic franchise. I feel like it would have a little bit more of a staying power. But this show was pretty dang good. I was really happy with it. I think that it took a lot of great things that I liked about the first 3 seasons of Camp Cretaceous and kind of made them better here. The characters were very well done. The dinosaurs all around were very, very well done. And I can't wait for season 2. Of course, there will probably be a season 2. So I'm looking forward to see what happens with that in the near future. I'm sure that it'll be very quick. You know, we're going to see season 2 pretty quick because that's exactly what happened with Camp Cretaceous. It was like a few months went by and all of a sudden, oh, season 2 already, son of a gun. But I'm excited to see what happens with that. I like this show. I think that this show is certainly something that is good for the Jurassic franchise, and it really does kind of help flesh out one of the biggest plot twists, I guess, in the franchise, and that's dinosaurs being around the world. There's just so many more things I can say, but I have more videos I need to record and other things I need to do today, unfortunately. So I just want to give you my overall thoughts on the show, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and have an awesome day.